Well, Miss Kamala Harris is making the rounds on the New York City liberal mainstream media talk shows right now. She wants to seem down to earth, relatable, like she's an everyday American just like you, but I don't think it's working. What's hilarious to me is that we begged Kamala Harris to do more sit-down, substantive, hardball interviews, but instead, she goes on The View, she goes on Stephen Colbert, she sits down with Howard Stern, people who are already voting for her. Now, the one good thing about The View is that it confirms I am 100% gay. There's not a single woman on that panel I'd ever want to spend more than 5 minutes with, so The View, thank you. What I find riveting is that Kamala Harris was asked on The View, how are you different from Joe Biden? Would you change anything from the last 4 years? And she said, well, nothing really comes to mind.
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
She was asked the same question on Stephen Colbert, and she could not come up with a real cogent answer. Kamala is telling us she's just going to continue the last 4 years of the Biden-Harris administration. Kamala then goes on Howard Stern for another softball interview. She talked about how she eats Raisin Bran cereal, she loves Doritos. Kamala, people are dying. Literally, this isn't hyperbole. Hurricane Helene, Hurricane Milton, people are losing their lives, and you're sitting around talking about cereal and Doritos. And Kamala Harris has the gall to say Florida Governor Ron DeSantis isn't taking her phone calls, he's politicizing the issue. Sweetheart, Ron DeSantis is very busy. Now, I was on the Megyn Kelly show yesterday. I love her. She's an icon. I look up to her. I was honored to be on there, and we actually spoke about this. Here's what I had to say.
And Kamala Harris always says hard work is good work, but I really don't think Kamala Harris likes to work hard. I've been saying for months, I think the only way to get her to work in the Oval Office is if you leave a trail of margaritas like Hansel and Gretel. She does not like to do hard work whatsoever. So I'm not surprised to see her politicizing this. Ron DeSantis has been working hard for years before he ever ran for president. He has a reputation of putting his boots on, not the best looking boots, but he puts on his boots and he gets to work, Ron DeSantis. Kamala Harris, the same cannot be said for her.
In the last 4 years, Kamala Harris has never once shown interest in any of the hurricanes, any of the people who've been devastated and ravaged, but now, 26 days out from the election, she wants to play politics and act like she cares. Now, if Ron DeSantis did answer Kamala Harris's phone calls, how would he know it's her? Because she changes her accent every single day.
Have you no empathy, man?
Yes.
You know, for the suffering of other people. Have you no sense of purpose?
Now, speaking of acting like she cares, Kamala Harris really sat there and told Howard Stern, I've been down to the border. I've seen the crisis at the border. Now, Howard Stern, if he was really trying to be a journalist and get to the bottom of things, he would have pressed Kamala Harris on this. She went 1,200 days without visiting the border. She oversaw the worst immigration crisis in American history, and she was put in charge of the border back in 2021, and she did nothing to solve the issue. She then goes down to the border for a 20-minute photo op and does absolutely nothing to curb the flow of illegal immigration. If Howard Stern, The View, Stephen Colbert, Call Her Daddy, 60 Minutes, had any backbone, they would have pressed her on the issue. Now, like I always say, I'm only beholden to the truth. I'm not owned by a media conglomerate. I've never taken a dollar from the RNC or the Trump campaign. I'm here to give you the facts and call it like I see it. I will admit, Kamala Harris seems like a fun time. I wouldn't trust her to be the designated driver. Our country's $35 trillion in debt. I think $34 trillion is Kamala's bar tab. I understand people think she's fun, but the issues we're facing right now in our country are not fun. Look at the hurricanes going on. Do you trust her to be at the helm? Look at the issues in Ukraine, the issues in the Middle East, the issues at the border. She has shown us she cannot do anything to solve them. All right, my friends, thanks for liking and following. Drop a comment. Tell me how you feel about Kamala Harris. Do you trust her to be commander-in-chief? Do you trust her to solve all the issues going on in our country? I will see you on the next one. Bye.